Milo Yiannopoulos, frosty-haired fagaloon, the only drag queen that makes an uglier woman than Rachel Maddow, crowned monarch of the universe. Kitty fucker?
Milo Yiannopoulos was disinvited from his keynote speaking slot at CPAC after a video of him surfaced advocating for sexual relationships with young boys.
They liked him because he was their gay who was willing to criticize other gays and willing to criticize, identity politics and people on the left. And, now they have egg on their face because their gay turned out to be just as gross as we've always said he was.
They have gleefully reported things about me they know aren't true over the last 48 hours. With the result, that you now all know. And you guys are responsible for that, and fuck you for that.
And no, it did not require nuance to understand what you meant when you endorsed adults having sex with 13-year-olds. It requires the rest of us to realize it's a bunch of nonsense and you're not somebody.
Grown. I'm trying not to read too much into the fact that the footage where Milo Yiannopoulos relays the traumatic fable of Father Pederast and the preteen pooper posse is itself old enough for fucking crow's feet. 2 years? 2 years! Roman Polanski would have stopped shitting on your chest 5 months ago. Watching the content of both interviews, I was struck how Milo Yiannopoulos, according to the Untermedia, somehow advocated pedophilia without once actually fucking advocating it.
The law is probably about right. That's probably roughly the right age. I think it's probably about okay. But there are certainly people who are capable of giving consent at a younger age. I certainly consider myself to be one of them. Pedophilia is attraction to people who don't have functioning sex organs yet, who have not gone through puberty, who are too young to be able to understand the way their bodies. That is not what we're talking about.
And Coulter.
Granted. You don't understand what pedophilia is if you think that I'm defending it.
If merely relating the details of one's abusive youth is tantamount to advocating same, I have to wonder why Bing Crosby's family are so into child beating. Motherfucker doesn't even make a point about age of consent, and the one time he's pressed on the subject, he ratifies it. Did we not just leave an election cycle where the media unsuccessfully made the case that because Donald Trump once talked about grabbing life by the pussy, he'd actually done it unsolicited before? Or was that just a mass hallucination? Not that it isn't gut-bustingly hilarious that we're actually pretending age of consent isn't up for debate on a planet with about 5 billion different ones. From the hard 18 of the US of A1 fucking right, to the 16 of many European and South American nations, to the maternity ward marriages of the Middle East. I will say, however, that it lapses well into the absurd to pretend that in the same society where 13-year-old girls are getting bukkake to the boys' room and Instagramming it the fuck out to their entire friends and family package, where the law is concerned, everyone wears a chastity belt and a butt plug till their 18th birthday. Fuck! If you have even a vaguely sincere urge to curb preteen predation, CNN, instead of spit roasting a professional provocateur, maybe cast a glass eye to the fucking teachers for a beat. I mean, when the fuck did Miss Krabappel go from talking about Congress to having it on the floor? My teacher wouldn't let me pound the desk. And of course, dying the dick cheese drama queens and Judas goat fuckers like, I'll say their names, the rebel fucking pundit, Evan McMullen, and the Reagan Battalion are kicking up a shit stink about some mythical video depicting Milo grooming underage boys for butt sex, presumably plying their poop chutes with alcohol, putting aside basic credibility establishing queries like, where would he lay his hands on underage boys on a college tour? If the loopy broad who leveled this accusation, refusing to proffer it without 5 cubic shitloads of shekels, doesn't send up a fleet of red flags to you, you are a far more trusting individual than I am, my friend. If after the election cyclone we just survived, you can still, with nary a fleeting hint of irony, accept out-of-hand claims made by CBS, never mind the pissant pundit, you must have skipped the unit in kindergarten about basic fucking pattern recognition, because wonder of wonders, every article about this controversy makes the same points in the same English with the same links to the same videos, and wouldn't you know it, they all dropped at the same time. If only a 4chan user with a press pass on a media mailing list had tipped us off to this flagrant journalistic collusion an entire day before, holy fucking shit! Look, the Democrats have been demolished here. For all the fecal funnel clouds forming above the Trump administration, again, as repeated by a media with a proven track record of lying about such. The fact is, there's a bloodbath behind closed doors for the confirmation of a new head at the DNC, and the media have made it their 9-to-5 occupation to dismiss, if not expressly ignore, that fucking fact. Guilty, innocent, or pedo supreme, the Milo media murder storm isn't intended to slight one individual. It's a callous and cynical attempt to employ divide and conquer tactics to widen the chasm between the disparate factions of a newly minted Trump movement. Because if the media were doing their actual goddamn jobs and reporting the omnipresent pissing contest at the DNC, you'd realize right fucking quick that without a conservative civil war, the DNC are dicked. So, faced with evidence of either monolithic media conspiracy or the proven existence of the first true precog in human fucking history, inexplicably wanking it to the waifu board at 4chan, you're faced with just two choices. If you want to provide acting evidence of the efficacy of these shitheel tactics, Lee Stranahan, Stefan Molyneux, and superstar Billy Graham Beard in search of a man half-baked Alaska, then you go right along doing what the fuck you're doing, dipshits. If you want to upend the apple cart, on the other hand, the course is clear. Look at these articles. Note the websites. Say their names and say them out loud. CNN, Huffington Post, ABC, CBS, MSNBC, Associated Press, New York Times, LA Times, Washington Post, CPAC, Daily Beast, The Blaze. Say their names and say them loud, because if you ever trust these organizations again, you are a fucking fool. I'm Razor Fist. God fucking speed.
Wait for it. Here it comes. Almost there.
She is 35. The boy is 14. He was younger when they started. But the big story
Has
this
he been
week.
bar mitzvahed?
Have I?
No, is he?
Oh. Okay. But she is pregnant again. That was the story this week. With the second child by this boy. So basically they're having a family and they're keeping the mother in jail because she won't conform to what society feels should be the perfect American family.
Oh, that's a shame.